So, the expired contract of Daniel Bryan is already upon us. Of course, Daniel Bryan is extensive over the current era of WWE. Obviously, I wanted to put my input on it. Personally, nobody's been actually asking for me to even acknowledge it except for my own accord, just so I can put my 2 cents up there. I don't really care. Daniel has centralized no buzz in any episode of Raw or SmackDown over his title reigns, over his storylines, and even forcing himself, literally booking himself to even headline WrestleMania, even though more people were more interested in Edge returning and having a Cinderella comeback story against Roman Reigns, the top guy in the company. Why is Daniel Bryan forcing himself over even though he's lost most of the calendar year? Then beating Jey Uso and he got pushed into the card. Like, it's stuff like that, and it feels so egocentric. Whenever Daniel hates whatever sucks about him actually makes him improve, he hates that. I think he has that mentality to feel like myself doesn't suck. Myself isn't boring. My fans love me. Uh, People don't want to see this cool vegan character that actually shows my real life personality. No, they just want to see Yes Movement Brian. It sucks. It really does. But that miracle on Bourbon Street really helped his career. I mean, that defined him. He was already a multi-time world champion over that time. And most time when he was world champion, it didn't even buzz over most of the company. Daniel Bryan's little forced underdog push overshadowed Batista's comeback from being gone over the company for the last 4 years. Over that time, the only entertaining thing that I remember about him that made him okay is that he was a prodigal mid carder, and the only thing that amassed him as a tops guy was probably when the brand split was still prevalent. Like, Team Hell No was okay because of because Kane can work with nearly everybody. He's more of an entertainer because of the PG style that he has, and he's pretty bland. And you leave him over a microphone, he can just always have the same generic promo whenever he's with the Yes Movement crap. I won't denounce that he hasn't had bad matches in hell. The WrestleMania match from just this year wasn't that bad at all, but they take it like Edge never had like Edge injuries costed him bad matches. No, it hasn't. I haven't even heard or seen a bad WrestleMania match from Edge in my life. No, like Mick Foley, Undertaker, John Cena and The Big Show, Kane. I mean, no, he didn't have Kane. He had Chris Jericho that one time. Del Rio. Most matches main eventing or even opening the show, and the guy I haven't heard ever had the worst Mania match in history. So I don't know why he thought after having good matches with Randy Orton, why would he have a terrible working match with Roman Reigns? I just feel like this was a faint part of feeding over to Daniel's ego, feeling because he's a great worker means he deserves more than anybody else in the company. Even not letting your young main event star face off against a Hall of Famer like Edge and get him over as a top guy and get Edge over for his story. Like, that's not that difficult. And seeing how much people like even praise him as just having these Hall of Fame level matches. I know what culture will have these crap storylines going over like, oh, his amazing matches with John Cena and CM Punk and the Shield, and that immense, overbooked, crappy, obvious babyface turn against the Wyatt family, or the Miracle on Bourbon Street, and then injury, injury, injury. You can call me a hater all you want, bro. I just feel like Daniel was just never at that type of thing that'll ever push him for the world title. And if he goes to AEW and New Japan, he'll get a small amount of buzz because Daniel Bryan is just yes, yes. That's his only personality. Like, there's nothing specifically you can like mimic off Daniel Bryan that will technically gain other fans to even support him. Like a semblance of mimicry that the fans do for a wrestler really sinks in to get a wrestler over. Like, who doesn't want to mimic Macho Man's voice or his charisma or just his promos or his moves in the ring? That is something that's inept and that's something that you're supposed to do. I don't see that off Daniel Bryan. And he just doesn't generate that much buzz, to be honest. I'm just not that compelled to just listen to Daniel Bryan. He always sounds so complacently whiny and monotone. The only thing he ever screams at is just saying yes or no. And the only let's just be serious, guys. Like, no one remembers a freaking segment off his little yes movement shit other than like the go home episode of WrestleMania 30 when it was just the crowd coming in with the freaking yes yes movement crap. Sure, that got Daniel a bit over, but who really cared over that standpoint? Like, people remember the Shield and Evolution feud more than this, and he really didn't generate any buzz in storyline since AJ Lee had that boy crazy thing going on back in 2012. So there was just more talented or people that were garnering more of a buzz on Raw than Daniel just saying, I am just a mid Carter and I'm trying to get over. And I'm already getting that already is the most overused trope in pro wrestling. The upper mid Carter that says they deserve it by doing nothing else and forcibly getting a minority of fans that just force support, and that just gives them like, oh, they lose a couple weeks and then they win the final few weeks to garner some semblance of momentum, and then they force over to the main event, and then we just gotta have the reign. So it just doesn't feel that organic because the guy that the fans already want already gonna get the guy for the title anyway. It was the same thing with Kofi Kingston. It was the same thing with Chris Benoit. It was the same thing with Daniel Bryan. Like, it's just getting predictable over this standpoint, and it just over most of it, it just feels like Daniel barely connects authentically with me because people already fans outside of WWE already know who this guy is because they hear from him in Ring of Honor and crap like that. So I already can't get behind this guy. And even if he comes back to the WWE, he's not going to garner that much over a following anyway. He's already crap as a booker. He's not that bad of a pro wrestler. His inter like his he has no definable look, and he even hates having his own gimmick that was literally garnering more conversation than his Yes Movement crap. So yeah, not really that compelled that his contract is expiring or that he might leave for a different company or resign. Either way, even outside of WWE, or if he even resigns, he's not a game changer. That's it coming from me. Like, thanks for the 60, yada yada yada. Thanks for watching.